Hey guys, it's Jay over at Guerrilla Games once again, and we are here with our second installment of our standard budget spotlight. So last week we went ahead and made that blue-red Fever Visions tempo deck that I had a ton of fun playing. It was awesome. So this one is going to be, it's sort of like the red-white humans aggro list that's been going around, but it's a lot more focused on equipment and allies. So basically, probably the best card in our deck, the card that the deck is basically built around, is this guy right here, Stonehaven Outfitter. He gives all of your equipped creatures +1/+1, and whenever an equipped creature dies, you get to draw a card. Going along with that, we also have Weapons Trainer, which is the 3/2 that other creatures get +1/+0 as long as you control an equipment. And then to go alongside those guys, we have all the equipment. So one of the things that I really like about this deck is it runs Bone Saws, and I'm a huge fan of any deck that runs bad cards and makes them good. Like Bone Saw is probably one of like the worst cards that I can think of in the modern era that's been in limited, but this deck runs 4 of them, and it actually does a really good job with them. We also have 2 Captain's Claws, which A, boosts the power, gives you some equipment, and it also gives you a little bit of ally synergy, which we're going to get into in just a second. And then our last piece of equipment that doesn't really make a lot of sense at first, but it makes more sense when you think about it, is Neglected Heirloom. So I don't have any way in this deck to naturally flip this guy over. This is literally just 2 mana to give a creature +1/+1. It's got a low equip cost, it's got a low casting cost, it gives you something to do on turn 1. The deck doesn't have a ton of 1-drops, so that's why Neglected Heirloom is in the deck. Again, I have no intention of actually flipping it over, so it's basically just all we care about is this half of the card, not that half. So, to go alongside Neglected Heirloom in our 1-drop slot, we've got 4 Expedition Envoys, so it's really good, comes down as a 2/1 on turn 1. It has an ally, so it synergizes very well with other allies, such as Core Blade Whirl. So all of our equipment boosts creatures' power, not really their toughness. So the fact that Core Blade Whirl is giving all of your allies first strike when it comes down is a huge, huge help. We've also got some Fire Mantle Mages to give creatures menace, so you can try to sneak through some damage. We've got Lantern Scouts that will give your allies lifelink, so that way you can kind of win any races or anything like that. We also got Undo Champion. Again, that's just another thing to help you sneak through some damage by giving everything trample. And then in the finisher slot, we've got a Resolute Blade Master, which gives everything double strike. So far I've played a couple games with this deck. I've actually played against a green-white token deck. I managed to take a game off of them, and I did end up going like 1-2 against them. But I pretty much felt like if I had top decked either a Fire Mantle Mage or an Undo Champion, I was like right in there, just because all of their creatures were having to like trade down essentially. Like I could just keep attacking, and they just had to keep trading stuff in. So I'm gonna go ahead and take a look at the sideboard real quick. So first thing we've got in our sideboard is we've got a Stasis Snare, just in case there's any kind of crazy removal or any crazy creatures that you need to remove. We've also got Griff's Boon. Again, that's just to give you a little bit more evasion. We've got Expedite, which I'll get to in a second, which combos well with the Reckless Bushwhacker. Essentially, these are against like any control decks that are have a lot of sweepers or anything like that. The deck is kind of weak to a lot of sweepers. So the Reckless Bushwhacker, the Expedites, and we also have Eerie Interludes. They're basically either to protect you against sweepers or help you catch back up after the sweeper is already hit. Because we have so many low drops, I also have 2 Boulder Salvos, which is also some removal in case you ever need that. We've got some Tears of Valakut to get at those flyers. And then finally, if there's absolutely no way for you to sneak through damage with Menace or Trample or anything like that, we've got 3 Magmatic Chasms, which just straight up says creatures without flying can't block this turn. So it's a really, really hardcore all-in aggro deck. Like I said, I've played a couple games with it. The look on my opponent's face when I went turn 1 Expedition Envoy, Bone Saw, they were just like, what is going on? Which is just absolutely awesome to me. So you can come on by, check the deck out. Once again, you can buy the 60 card deck for $20 or the full 75 for $25. Hopefully we'll see you guys around. We'll be playing with it in our standard events Tuesdays at 1 and Sundays at 4. Until then, I'll see you guys later.